Hi everyone, a very warm welcome back to MEC-TEC. As you can see, we are in Norfolk and we are finally going to get some Capri content on the channel again. Now, today's a good day because the Capri is actually going to be coming home with me, so I can use it down in Essex for a little while the weather's still good and all that sort of thing. But before we drive it back home, we do need to do a job on this. Now, you would have seen quite a few videos ago when the Capri was last sort of in a video at the DeLorean meet, we did one of the tappets was too tight, which we adjusted in the car park, and it now runs absolutely lovely. But obviously in doing that, it ruined the rocker cover gasket, which are cork. So we need to replace the rocker cover gaskets because it's really leaking bad now. And I've got a upgraded part from CHG Classics. So rather than using cork, we have actually got some proper decent rubber gaskets. So that is going to be today's job. We're going to get these fitted, and then obviously we can drive it home and not leak oil all over the floor. Sounds like an easy job, but obviously being that the rocker covers are a little bit buried in there, it's going to take a little while to actually get to them before we can just buzz them off. So it's going to be a bit of a faff, but we'll get it done. I'll grab the camera, get you set up over here, and let's see if we can get this sorted out. Rightio, with the bonnet up, as you can see, the rocker covers are buried under there, under all these hoses and pipes. Now it's going to be a little bit easier because obviously we've got rubber gaskets, which we will use a little bit of RTV on one side just to glue them to the covers, so when we put the covers back in they won't move. Hopefully this side looks a little bit easier, there's not quite as much to take out on this side. Probably have to take this air pipe off. We've got the leads obviously that attach to the top of the rocker cover, which will need to come off so we can get the rocker cover out without moving any of that. So yeah, I'm gonna obviously start stripping bits off of this and I'll cut in and out as we make some progress. Let's crack on. Right, there you go, that's the first cover off, as you can see, and that gasket is absolutely mullered. It's in two bits, so obviously that was definitely going to be leaking, and as luck would have it, it looks like it's all coming off in one piece, or nearly one piece. There's not a lot of clean up to do on there, so the next thing I'm going to do is give this a little clean up. I'm going to not glue, but I'm going to just put a couple of dots of RTV on this side, just to hold the gasket in the cover, if that makes sense. In fact, I may not have to do that because it's got these little provisions here which the gasket pokes through, so it might be that I can push it into those and it'll hold it in there, but we'll see on that side of things. I'll try that in a second. I'm going to give this a little clean up and I'll come back to you when I've got the gasket on there. Right, there you go, that's all cleaned up with a bit of the old thinners, and as you can see, you've got the rubber gasket in there, and these little provisions on the side here hold it in no problem at all, so I can actually turn it upside down. I haven't got to use any RTV, which is great. I'm really impressed with these gaskets actually, they fit really nice, and that should do a much better job of sealing it than those old cork ones ever would. So that is absolutely superb. So now I'm going to get the surface on the block cleaned up, on the head cleaned up I should say, and then we can just put that back on and bolt it down. Job done, and then we can do the other side. Let's carry on. Right, I've cleaned up all the surface in here. Luckily enough, none of the cork that actually stuck to it. It was that much oil leaking out of it that it's obviously released it all, so I didn't have to scrape it. I just went around it with a cloth and some thinners, and that worked absolutely fine. So I'm going to try and obviously get this back in now without snagging it on anything, and hopefully it's a bit fiddly because obviously you've got plug wires and don't really want to. Actually, I could unplug a couple of them. Let's unplug that one, that's stretching across. Remember where they go front goes to top left, and that should be alright. Actually, it was only one really. So if we get that in there now, under this cooling hose, it's a bit fiddly. The gasket is doing its job, staying on there with those little tangs, so that's good. Should be a case of just working it over, under that pipe, over that pipe, around there. There we go, that's in. So now it's just a case, you can see it hasn't moved because I can see through all the holes where the bolts go through. Now it's just a case of getting that all bolted back down again, and then we'll start on the other side. Let's carry on. Right, this side is now bolted back down with the old electric ratchet, doing a mega job. Don't know how I ever live without that. It's an absolutely superb tool. So now all I've got to do is obviously replug in everything that I've unplugged. It's mainly just the washer, not the washer, the coolant bottle and one lead. In fact, I'm going to put that lead back on now so I don't forget, because otherwise I will. That will go under there. I only took one lead off, so I know which one it goes back onto, so that's good. There we go. That's that lead back on at least, so that's not that. I haven't got to worry about that now. Obviously we've got a little comb clip here which all the leads clip back into. We'll clip all those in. So there's 4 holes, but 3 leads, because obviously it's a V6, so you've got 3 each side. That's those back in. I've got a little breather pipe to go back on now, which will do, that goes from the plenum on the top here to the rocker. It literally just pushes on. I say it literally pushes on, it came off like that, so hopefully it will push back on. Let's get that on there like that. It's a bit of a, you have to sort of bend it a little bit to get it in. It's only rubber, so there we go, that's that in. So that's that in, that's the leads in. There's another little clip there for one of the leads, which I'll put in just so that it doesn't dangle onto the exhaust manifold. I don't want to melt your leads. So yeah, I've got the bracket to go back on here, the bottle to go back on with the 2 pipes, or 3 pipes, and then that is this side complete. So that is top banana. Quite pleased with how long that took actually. I thought it was going to take a lot longer. Right, I'm going to get this put back in and we'll go on the other side. Right, driver's side is now buttoned up. We are onto the passenger side, which hopefully is going to be even easier because there's not as much this side. Now you've got to take this air pipe off, which I'm doing now. The old electric ratchet going like the clappers. That's such a good tool, that. Right, oh, that's on there. You know, I said it was going to be easier. Where's that screwdriver? It's obviously not been off for a while. I'm assuming it's a bit stuck. A little bit of a tweak here and there. Hopefully that'll pop off. Just have to sort of break the seal and then it should go. He says, rocking the whole car trying to get it off. Sometimes if you can twist them, it helps. Yeah, like that. And that clip actually might want to be undone a bit more too, because it's not letting it go past. Let it go. Let it go a certain way, but right over the lip. And obviously because this pipe's really a little bit hard now, it's not as flexible as it used to be. You have to have a bit more leeway for it. There it goes. There you go. That's it. Do the same with this end. I've got a screwdriver in my hand. I'll just loosen that off a bit. Easy with that. That clip's actually stuck to the pipe. There it goes. Ideally I'd like to get that off, but I might be able to do it without. Either that or I'll take it off the actual plenum itself, that might be easier. See if that comes off easier. I bet it will just pop off. There you go. A little bit of a winkle it off. Interesting fact, this is basically this, well, it's the same injection system as the DeLorean, which is a Bosch Cage-Electronic, and obviously you can see there, hopefully in the video where my finger is, this is the plenum which would usually sit up here on the DeLorean. So it's basically the same system, obviously it's routed slightly differently, but yeah. So right, pretty much I'm looking at this now, there's nothing else attached to this side of the cover apart from these leads, which will just pop out of that clip like that. Might be easier to take that one off, get that one out of the way, same as the other side. I'll get this unbolted and we should be home and dry. On this side it should be a lot easier. This is the oil fill side, so it's got the spout on it as well. Now this side wasn't leaking, I know that, because the manifold's dry. Obviously the other side was leaking because we had it off before when we did the tappet. So, but I'm obviously going to change this one so that they're both matched and they're both got the nice new rubber gaskets on. So I'll buzz that off and I'll come back to you. Right, there you go, that's the other side. As you can see, the gasket on this side is in one piece, and it's kind of stuck to the head, but it's all coming off, peeling off nice. Now there is a little bit of oozing through this one as well, because obviously the cork over time becomes porous and lets the oil through. So there you go, that's completely off of there now in one piece, so that's handy. And I haven't got to do any clean up on that head, because that is all lovely and clean, nice, and obviously nice surface for the new one to go straight onto. So that is absolutely superb. I'm well chuffed with that. I'm going to give this rocker cover a bit of a clean up. Again, nice and clean in there really for the age of the engine. Bear in mind this has done 70,000 miles, I think, or just over 71,000 from new, so it's not done many miles. It's lovely and clean in there, no sludge, so that is absolutely superb. I'm going to give it a little wipe over with some thinners just to make sure it's double clean, and then we can get the new gasket put on. Right, I've got all that cleaned up, as you can see. I just thought I'd show you the gasket going on. Obviously it's fairly self-explanatory, but you've got these little tabs on the sides of it. You see the little square bits that stick out, and you just eke those into the gaps on the rocker like that. It does pinch it a little bit, obviously, to hold it in there, but just make sure that the main part of the gasket's sitting flat and you do it. Really impressed with these, actually. They're such a better alternative to the cork ones. And they weren't mega expensive. I think they were about 40 quid, so, or something like that, 35 maybe, can't remember now. Bought them about 3 or 4 months ago and haven't had a chance to fit them until now. So yeah, that just pushes in. It's as simple as that. Obviously just make sure both your surfaces are clean. I'm going to give the header wipe over a little bit of thinners just to obviously make sure there's no grease and mank under it. That's it. There we go, sitting nice and flat all the way around. Obviously make sure your holes are all lined up as best you can. They're actually, another good thing about these rubber ones is the holes are the right size. I find a lot of times with the cork ones they are too small and you have to sort of fight the gasket to get the bolt to go through, if that makes sense. But these ones they just slot straight through, and actually they've been punched out to the right size in the first place, which is great. Right, I'm going to get the head cleaned up and then we can get this side bolted back on. Right, remember when I said this is the easy side? Yeah, how wrong was I? Well, it was the easy side, to be fair, apart from that bolt in there, as you would have seen in the time lapse, was an absolute pain. just because I couldn't get it in the hole because this pressure regulator is in the way. Anyway, it's on there now, it's all tightened up. I've got to plug these leads back in the same as the other side. I'm saying it out loud so I don't forget anything. I've got to put that one back in like that, and then all we've got to do then is the air pipe for the injection, and obviously then that's done. But before I put that on, as you can see in there, the inside of that plenum is really dirty, so I'm going to clean that out with a bit of thinners beforehand, so obviously that's all nice and clean, and then I'll put the air pipe back on, and then we should be job done. Right, there you go. As you can see there now, that plenum is now lovely and shiny, super duper clean and free moving as well, because it was a bit jammed before, so that may even make it run a bit better hopefully. So I'm going to get that air pipe put back on, and then we are hopefully good to go for driving it back to Essex. I'm going to check the oil and the coolant level, because obviously I've lost a little bit of coolant when I took that tank off, and other than that we should be okay to go. Top banana. Right, we're going to go for a start up on this. It hasn't been started for about 2 months we reckon, so let's see what happens now that we've done all what we've done. Hopefully it'll be alright and we won't have any leaks. Any throttle? Sounded like that was missing to start with, but I think it's just the fuel getting back round into all the injectors. Obviously you can see the camera's wobbling a little bit. I'll try and hold that still. So that is obviously running lovely and smooth. I'm going to let this warm up for a minute, and obviously make sure we've got no leaks and whatever else, and we should be good to go for the trip home hopefully. There is still a slight exhaust blow on this side which I need to sort out. I know about that, but we'll worry about that later. Lovely. Right, while we're up here I thought I'd do a quick cutting on the old Triumph. Dad's had the wheels powder coated and the new tyres are now on there as well. So we've got lovely new powder coated wheels, and what the make of those? They're Toyo tyres. So we've got some good decent make tyres on there. Toyo Nano Energy 3. And for five, was it 5 tyres?
No, 4.
4 tyres were 135 quid for 4 tyres. So that can't be bad, can it? And they're obviously all the same all the way around now, all nice and safe. The wheels are absolutely like glass. You can see there's still a bit of tyre paste on the tyres at the moment. It needs a bit of lacquer on there, but they look absolutely superb. Really nice. See them shining in the sun. And just while I was up here I thought I'd give you a little update on those. You need to polish those centre caps up now to match.
Yeah.
Look at that. Really good. So that's a job well done, I say. Top banana.
First part of this journey and I'm already happy.
Shut the window up a little bit, please.
It's very
A little
hot.
bit, that's it.
Like that. Oh, a leaf blew in.
Right, as you can see we are just setting off in the Capri, Norfolk down to Essex. It's about 105-ish miles. I think you can see Lucy in the camera. She's in there with me.
I'm having a blast.
Indeed. So hopefully we won't have any issues. We've checked the oil, we've checked the water, everything seems to be fine, so we'll obviously update you on anything that may happen on the journey, but hopefully it'll be uneventful, and the next time you see us we'll hopefully be back at base and have a smile on our face. See you in a bit. Right, I've just stopped for fuel, and you can see under there is quite a substantial amount of oil. I don't know if that's actually on or not, so I'm going to move the car out of the way and we'll see what it is. Right, turns out it's actually not the car dripping, thank God it's water from someone else's aircon where I've parked over the top of it in the garage, so fingers crossed we should be still alright to get back. So yeah, we'll come back to it in a bit. Right then, as you can see, I've got the Capri shoehorned into the garage. There isn't a lot of room, as you can tell. There's probably about 10 inches at the front and probably about 3 or 4 inches at the back. So it is pretty tight, but it is in here anyway. And that still allows me to obviously have the van where it was and a bit of room at the other end to work on the engine on the workbench without having to be cramped up, and got a bit of room to move around. Now, one thing I did just find, which I've had since I had the last Capri, which was when I first got the DeLorean in 2008, was this sign, and it never got put up, but maybe I need to put that up somewhere in the garage now, because obviously that's quite cool. So Capri drove absolutely fine all the way home, no problem at all. Kept up with motorway traffic, absolutely fine, as you'd expect from a car with this size engine. It has got a bit of a shake. It's either going to be brakes or tyres, I'm assuming. I know the brakes are warped a little bit, so we need to change the discs. We've got new ones of those to go on. The tyres are of unknown origin and age. They were on the car when it came over back from Germany, so they could be 5 years old, they could be 25 years old for all I know, I don't know. They're that old, they haven't got a code on them, I can tell anyway, so looks like we might be in for a new set of tyres at some point too. But other than that, it was absolutely fine. Lucy enjoyed the trip, and I obviously enjoyed the trip as well. We got loads of thumbs up from people as we were going along, because obviously you don't see them anymore. It's nice to drive a car around for and have something that isn't sort of common, you know, which is why I love old cars, because I think it's superb. There's no better feeling. Anyway, I'm waffling. If you do like what you see, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button down there and ring the little notification bell. It will tell you every time I upload a video. I have got Instagram, MEC_TEC1985, and I have got Facebook, MEC-TEC, for little sneak peeks during the week of what I'm up to. And all that is left for me to say is, if you want to join me soon for more automotive adventures, I'll see you again next time. Cheers guys.